What's up, guys? It's Wally, and today we're going to be talking about another different Tera type Pokemon that we encountered. And that one today is going to be a Ghost type Slaking that we caught earlier this week on stream. And honestly, I think this one has a lot of potential. So we'll get into the video, but before we do, as always, if you guys are new here, just haven't yet, please make sure to go down and hit the subscribe button. If you guys do enjoy the video, please make sure to drop a like too. So Slaking is a normal type normally, no pun intended, which as we talked about in the Meowth Persian video, only has one weakness to fighting and one immunity to ghost. Offensively, normal type moves don't hit anything for super effective damage. It is resisted by rock and steel, and it doesn't hit ghost. That's not to say that normal type moves can't be effective though, so having this stab carry out throughout the whole battle really will be important, especially if our other moves are not very effective, but our normal type move would be. The important thing with this normal type to ghost type Tera kind of switch that we're going to be doing really is going to be taking away that weakness to fighting. And unlike the flying type Meowth Persian that we talked about last week, it's going to be a little bit different because we're not just going to be turning our weakness into a resistance, we're going to be turning our weakness into an immunity. So there's actually a good shot that your opponent is going to waste their first turn out there because they don't realize that we're going to be turning from a normal type into a ghost type. So if they think that we're just going to stay a normal type and they go for a fighting move thinking it's going to be super effective damage, joke's going to be on them when they realize we're a ghost type now and their move isn't going to do a damn thing at all. And not just that, but after you terrestrialize, one of your weaknesses is going to be a ghost type move. But really, on that first turn, you're not going to have to worry about that because you're originally a normal type Pokemon. So if they really think that a ghost type move is going to affect a normal type Pokemon, maybe they just forgot the rules or the type chart or something like that. But typically speaking, if someone knows the type chart and everything, yeah, they're not going to be doing a ghost move into a normal type Pokemon. So you're not going to have to worry about that ghost type move going to do on that first turn. After terrestrializing, we will only have two weaknesses, one of which to ghost, as I already mentioned, and the other to dark. We do have two resistances to poison and bug, and we do have two immunities to normal and fighting. Now, the awesome thing about this is that only having two weaknesses means you only have to cover for a couple things. And thankfully for us, Slaking actually does have moves to be able to take care of both those weaknesses. I mean, you can definitely see the moves on the screen, but we'll definitely get into more depth into it in just a little bit. Offensively, ghost type moves do hit Psychic and Ghost for super effective damage, which is actually really great when you consider new great Pokemon like Espathra and Houndstone. There is only one type that resists it, and that is Dark, and of course there is one type that is immune to it, and that is Normal. However, as I said earlier, we do have coverage for both of those. So, looking at potential builds here, obviously as you can tell, I already did kind of start to build Slaking a little bit. I definitely kind of put like a really weird EV spread on this. Definitely, I know some people will want to put, a lot more attack into it. Maybe max out the attack even. But for me, I really wanted to give it a little extra bulk because there are a few things that we can do to actually kind of power it up. So, and plus at a base 160 attack, that's still a pretty high attack stat. So, even if you don't invest a lot of EVs into attack, that's not necessarily going to be the worst thing. Plus, we do have a nature here that obviously it's adamant, which means that it is plus attack minus special attack. So having that nature means that, naturally that attack is going to be higher anyways. So that's part of the reason why I, kind of spread out the EVs here a bit. We put 4 in speed just because we wanted to add a 5th category here, but also that does give us 1 extra stat point in the speed stat. So if for some reason we do face another Slaking and that Slaking doesn't have any EV investment in speed at all, then at least we'll outspeed it for sure. Unless we're in Trick Room, but in that case, what can you do at that point, right? But either way, this was kind of the spread. Obviously, I wanted to put a little extra bulk, especially in the special defense since it only has a 65 base special defense stat, which obviously is not that great. But again, at a base 150 HP stat, you already have natural bulk built in. So, you don't necessarily have to worry too much about that special defense. However, especially since we're going to be terrestrializing into a ghost type Pokemon, a lot of ghost type moves and some dark type moves as well are special attacks. So again, I wanted to put a little bit there into special defense to be able to kind of help ourselves from that perspective. Again, I maxed out the EVs and HP because, again, we really wanted the max amount of bulk that we could for Slaking, considering the fact that it is an extremely bulky Pokemon. And like I said, the nature is positive in attack, but we did also throw in an extra 60 EVs there. That way we can give a little extra, firepower behind Slaking. In terms of abilities, unfortunately, it does only get one ability, which is Truant. So basically what that means is that every other turn, we don't move. That does get annoying. However, I understand why they made that the case because, again, a 150 HP, 160 attack, 100 speed, like, you kind of had to nerf it somewhere. So I guess why not give it the ability that, makes it so it only attacks 1 out of every 2 turns. So really we have to find ways to kind of get rid of that. And that's kind of why we have these other 2 Pokemon up here. And when I was looking at it, I'll be honest with you, I was kind of having a hard time deciding between the 2. I think I know which one I'd want to go with, but I think you could have cool tech with both. So I was looking at different Pokemon that got the move Entrainment. So what Entrainment does, and you'll see here on Lilligant, it basically changes your target's ability to match the one that you have right now. So with Lilligant, what it would do, and I guess with Pawmot as well, or any other Pokemon that is Entrainment, whatever ability it has, if it ended up doing Entrainment into Slaking, Slaking's ability would change into the same one that the Pokemon, like in this case, Lilligant, would have. So there are, again, a couple different options with this. With Lilligant, it has a couple different abilities here. You have Chlorophyll, which is great because if Sunny Day is active, that means that your speed is doubled. And since Slaking is a fast Pokemon already, that would be pretty awesome. However, that, you're not always going to have a Sunsetter on the team. Your opponent might, which would be really nice, but you can't rely on that all the time. So that's not exactly the best option here. You have Leaf Guard, where if Sunny Day is active, the Pokemon can't be statused, which is nice too because, hey, Slaking is a physical attacker. So if it does get burnt, its attack power does get cut in half. So making it so that you can't get statused, that's pretty darn nice. I like that a lot. However, the one that I think would probably be best would be Own Tempo. And the reason for that is because that means that Slaking won't be able to get confused, which I think is nice because it eliminates the possibility of hitting yourself with, extra strong attacks. So you never want that, trust me. So being able to not be confused is a really big benefit. But even better than that is that you're immune to Intimidate. And as we learned in Gen 8, a lot of people love to use Intimidate Mons. And I guess even further back than that too, but I guess most recently, Gen 8. So I'm sure you will see a lot of Intimidate Mons out there. And again, with Slaking being a physical Pokemon, really, you don't want to lower your attack at all. So making it so that you're immune to those Intimidate kind of switch-ins and everything like that really makes it beneficial. So I think doing Entrainment of Own Tempo onto Slaking would probably be the, I guess in my mind, the best option here. Not just with Lilligant, but with all Pokemon. However, as you can see, I have Pawmot out there as well. And I think you could do something interesting here too. Because, of course, it does get Entrainment as well. But for its abilities, it does have Volt Absorb, which isn't bad. But, with Slaking, it's, unless a Pokemon only has electric moves, really, you're not going to be seeing a lot of electric, moves going into you. So Volt Absorb is good, but not the greatest. Natural Cure, again, you could always cure your status condition when switching out. So if you do get burnt, you could always switch out and then switch Slaking back in, which is always a possibility. But again, that's, again, it's good. But I think that Iron Fist might be a little bit better because Iron Fist does make punch-based attacks 20% stronger. Of course, unfortunately, Sucker Punch isn't boosted, which, rightfully so. Again, it is a priority move, so having that kind of be, boosted would just be a little broken. So, but other than that, though, all the other punch moves really do get, that 20% boost. And thankfully for Slaking, it does get a couple of punch moves. So, obviously, we do have Drain Punch, which is great because, like I said, for coverage, because we are going to be terrestrializing into a ghost type. If we do end up seeing a dark type Pokemon out there, yeah, Drain Punch is going to be really, really good. That's going to be super effective. And not just that, but we're going to be able to heal up a bit too. That's the really great thing about Drain Punch is you do get to heal up a bit too. Other punch moves that we get as well, I'm going to type them in here. If I can type, I'm sorry. We do have like Fire Punch, Focus Punch, which would hit really, really hard as well, but it's not exactly the best move to have on it. Plus, with Drain Punch, again, you do end up getting to heal up a bit. So I think that's why it's, for me, a better fighting move. But either way, other punching moves as well. We have Ice Punch, Sucker Punch, which doesn't get affected by Iron Fist, but we also have Thunder Punch. So you do have a whole lot of moves that you can choose from here as punch moves. So Iron Fist wouldn't be the worst ability. However, again, going back to what I said with Lilligant, I think that own tempo and making yourself immune to intimidates, I think would probably be the best option here. So in terms of a move set here, now, like I said, I think Drain Punch is a really great move to have on it. It's great because it covers you for Dark, as well as the normal type Pokemon that you wouldn't be able to hit with Shadow Claw. Obviously, you'd still have the stab move with like Body Slam or another normal type move. However, being able to do super effective damage and heal yourself up at the same time, I think is pretty cool. So having Drain Punch is great. Shadow Claw is great because, again, that is a stab move after you terrestrialize. Plus, you do have some pretty good coverage against Ghost-type Pokemon as well. So that will be the super effective move against the other Ghost-type Pokemon. So again, if a Ghost-type Pokemon is out there, you're not going to have to worry about them using a Ghost-type move into you. So if you are able to get that first move off and be able to hit them with super effective damage with Shadow Claw, with that stab, I mean, hey, that's nice. I feel like you have the upper hand at that point. Plus, you also do have that high critical hit ratio as well. So you do have that bump up in being able to get that crit. So, you know, it's not a huge bump up. I mean, it's a pretty big bump up in terms of it, but you still don't have the biggest chance of hitting a critical hit. But still, being able to up that chance, I think is really important as well. And again, since it will be a stab move, I think it's really nice to have on it. Since we do end up retaining our original stab, which of course is normal, I think Body Slam is a great one to have on it. Of course, you can have Giga Impact as well, but for me, I like being able to have the chance of paralyzing your opponent. Plus, you don't have to worry about not moving on the next turn. So, I mean, granted, Slaking, if you weren't going to remove Truant, I think Giga Impact would actually be good because you're not going to be moving on that second turn anyways, you know? So being able to use Giga Impact and doing that 150 power and getting the stab out of it, I think would be good. But since we're planning on removing Truant, I think Body Slam really is the better option here. And then now for the fourth move, really, again, you have to think about the coverage of your own team. Again, if you do end up putting Iron Fist on it, you can put a whole bunch of different like punch moves on it. Like, again, Fire, Ice, Thunder, and that covers a good amount of things, of course. There are a lot of other moves that you can put on it too. Of course, you can put Bulldoze and have it as kind of like a like speed control. You can always put something, I guess, like, heck, you can even put Curse on it too if you want to end up giving them a Curse, because now you are going to be a Ghost type. Of course, with that, you wouldn't be able to have Assault Vest on it. And same goes with all other kind of status moves or things like Protect and all that. So obviously you wouldn't be able to use Assault Vest with those. But in terms of actual moves too, you know, obviously, you know, you have a whole bunch of different moves that you can use with Slaking. He has a lot of good coverage here and a lot of different types that he can use. I mean, you even have Play Rough. I mean, that's pretty awesome, actually. That's actually another move that you can put on there as coverage against Dark types if you don't want to have Drain Punch on there. But again, I think Drain Punch is good because it does hit, obviously, Dark types for super effective damage. And then, of course, normal types that you won't be able to hit with Shadow Claw. You can use that as well, and you do get to heal up. But either way, Play Rough is another good one that you can use for that too. But point is, there are a lot of different good moves. I mean, Seed Bomb, that's a physical grass move too, if you end up seeing a lot of water types or ground types or anything. But either way, I'm sorry. I'm kind of getting off track here. But again, like I said, you want to put 4 actual moves on it if you do end up using Assault Vest, which I did put on here because, again, its special defense is pretty atrocious. It's at 65. Your defense is at 100. So with Assault Vest, you do up your special defense quite a bit. So being able to get that boost from the Assault Vest is going to make your defenses a little more even and you even more bulkier. So even more bulky. I think that's the proper English for it. Either way, though, Assault Vest I think would be a good item to have on it. But also another one that people actually brought up in chat today, And I didn't realize that it was an actual item until, people actually brought it up. And it's really cool too, now that I've looked at it. And that's Punching Glove. And again, this is another reason why you might want to keep different like punch moves on it too. So like Drain Punch, or even Ice Punch, Fire Punch, Thunder Punch, something like that. Is Punching Glove essentially allows you to do 10% more damage with punching moves than normal. So if you do have Iron Fist as well, I think they stack. So either way, you'd be getting a big boost with it, more so than if you were just Punching Glove or just Iron Fist. But not just that, but you avoid adverse contact effects too. So if I'm not mistaken, this would mean that if you end up hitting a Pokemon that has like Poison Point, or a Pokemon that is holding like a Rocky Helmet or something like that, you're not going to be taking the damage from the Rocky Helmet. You won't have that chance of getting poisoned or anything like that. I think that's what it means. So being able to have the Punching Glove on it, I think would be a really awesome item to have on it as well. I only put Assault Vest on it originally because I was thinking for more bulk. But again, with Iron Fist, being able to stack that with Punching Glove, I think would be a really cool thing. It might be something that we might end up exploring down the line, but that would be another reason to have Pawmod out there. Obviously, with Lilligant, I think that Assault Vest might be a better one for this specific slacking. But again, if we did want to go Pawmod and wanted to go Iron Fist, I really think Punching Glove would be a really cool thing that we could do. So that's our build for our Ghost-type slacking. And obviously, I did kind of leave that fourth move off because really, depending on what item you want to have on it and all that, like that could change. It could be another punch move, could be Play Rough if you really wanted, could be Protect, another status move, and obviously that would depend on the item as well. But either way, I think this would be a really good setup for a slacking that wanted to terrestrialize into a ghost type. And honestly, I think because we do have Pawmod as well, and we do have this slacking because we did just catch it, I think this might be our first competitive team that we build. So keep an eye out for that. But either way, this is our slacking. I'm really excited to use this down the line. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys enjoyed the slacking as well. If you guys did, make sure to go down and drop a like, and we'll see you guys next time.